See Brown in your face.
Have you heard of Everything at Once?
Do you know about Everything at Once?
It's internationally known.
Aliens listen to it.
It's the best ever.
If there's something you're looking for in the 814, or feeling a little bored and think there ain't no more, check out Everything at Once and allow it to be your source. It's that raw podcast that's always showing support, highlighting the scene. No need to take I-90 to Peep or 79 to see how it be. Interviewing your locals with mindsets that are global. Innovators and creators on every single upload. So much going on in the EPA.
Incredible content.
Everything at Once will keep you up to date.
Amazing guests.
What you doing? Come through and hang with Tony and Dave.
Community driven.
Bringing everything at once from around the way. Everything at once from around the way. Hey.
Please listen. We love you. Everything at Once.
Everything at Once.
Hey, Dave, you ready for another podcast?
Yeah, I guess.
Dang, man, you sure you feeling okay?
I don't know. I've just been tired and sluggish lately, and I just can't seem to get any energy.
You really should have seen our last guest, Shantae. When she was here, she could have given you some direction. She's a board-certified doctor of natural medicine.
Do you think it's too late?
Nah, man, you could give her a call. Her practice is called Sacred Divine Femininity.
Sounds like that's for girls.
It's not, man. She treats guys and girls. She takes a holistic approach towards health and well-being.
You know, I think I'm going to give her a call.
That's a good idea, dude.
Hey, Tony, what's up, bud?
Wow, Dave, you're looking a lot better.
I'm feeling a lot better. Thank you so much for getting me in contact with Shantae.
Yeah, Sacred Divine Femininity really seems like it did the trick for you.
It really did. I'm ready to do the best podcast ever.
Let's do it.
Yeah!
It's time to introduce this show.
The best show on the face of the planet.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you all for tuning in today. We want to thank our Patreon producers, Brian G., Josh W., Ian D., Nick G., and Sadie M.
Patreon, it's an awesome way to support the show and say thanks. You can become a Patreon supporter by clicking the link below and choosing to be an intern, assistant, or producer level supporter.
If being on the production team is too much pressure for you, you can also send any contributions using our Venmo at Everything at Once Studios. We now want to thank all the local businesses who supported this episode. These businesses get the Everything at Once stamp of approval and are critical members of the Everything at Once community. We couldn't do it without them. With winter approaching, are there any last-minute details that you want to change or renovate around your home?
I might, but you know who to call.
Yeah! Ghostbusters!
No, Tony. No, not Ghostbusters. Solid State Construction.
Oh, yeah. Solid State.
Yeah.
Duh. Solid State takes pride in all their home remodeling projects. Solid State specializes in bathroom remodeling, kitchen renovation, window and door installation, custom design work, and more, including painting, flooring, drywall, sidewalk, decks. Get your free quote today by calling Nick at 814-397-7854. Solid people, solid product, Solid State Construction.
You know, Tony, with all these renovations from Solid State, I think we might have kicked up some bad energy around here. Yeah, oh yeah. Luckily, we know just the people to go see.
I know it this time. It's Ghostbusters.
No, Tony! Our friends at Cauldron and Thorne!
Wow. I feel really dumb right now, and I can't believe I didn't think of Cauldron and Thorne, the world's largest witchcraft and metaphysical shop, with everything a person needs to channel the spirit world.
Practice some self-care.
Find enlightenment.
Curse your enemies.
Protect yourself from your enemies.
Bless your friends.
Cleanse your space from negative energies. You can check out all the magical wares available at for these different practices we all love and enjoy at Cauldron and Thorne, 2724 West 8th Street, or online at cauldronandthorne.com.
This week, we have an incredible guest for you. Name of this episode, we could have been horse people.
That's amazing.
That's a good name
That's
for this
amazing.
episode. That's what we'll call it too, for real, when it comes out.
Listen, I am a horse person, okay? So you guys could have been horse people.
I'm-
There's
Yeah,
still
I guess
time.
I'm
Yeah.
kind of a horse person. I'm a horse adjacent person.
Yeah.
You're the
have-
one who missed out.
I have this weird thing. I don't know what it is in my backyard, but I always told people when they ask me what it is that it's a horse hitching post. I don't really think that's actually what it is, but that's what I tell everyone it is.
Great. I
Yeah.
think you should keep that.
I mean,
Yeah.
I do. I don't know what else it could be, so that's probably what I'm gonna have to continue to tell people for the rest of my life. Is that like, yeah, this is a, or at least as long as we continue to live here, that it's a horse hitching post from back in the 1800s when.
Get a little plaque.
I'm a big proponent of when AI takes over to the point that a lot of people can't work, that we go back to riding horses because
Listen.
we won't need to get places as quickly.
Did
Yeah.
you guys see the Civil War with Kirsten Dunst?
I, s-
Guys.
I saw it with Abraham Lincoln.
No,
sorry.
guys. Okay, it came out 2024, Civil War, and none of the highways work. They've all been blown up, and we grow a lot of our
I
vegetables
heard about
at
this.
home.
I did
Yes.
hear
Okay,
about
so
this.
me and my husband grow a lot of our vegetables at home. We have the horse. We have a guard dog. We're set for our block.
Yeah.
We're ready.
When
Yeah.
COVID hit really hard, my house is like 100% concrete, like all the walls, the second floor, the ceiling,
Good.
everything is completely concrete. So this was just like my barracks, kind of. Me
Love
and
it.
my roommate at the time loaded the house up with guns in like every corner of every room of every part of the house. So like if things started popping off and people were running around with torches and pitchforks, like it was expected to happen when COVID first started, we were ready, you know?
See, I've been on the opposite side of it for many years. Like, I've always said, if a bomb was going to drop, like a nuclear bomb, I'd
Just
try to get the
take me with
coordinates
you.
and drive right towards it. Or if it was like a zombie apocalypse, I'd, jump off the roof,
Where's
crowd
my
surfing.
camera?
Right there.
Right there.
I
Do
go-
you see this?
I just, not that I'm a quitter. It's just
Yes.
like,
Yes, it
It's-
sounds like you.
That's given up for sure.
yeah, well, it's a little bit of giving up, but I also don't think that I'm not including you guys, but I don't think a lot of people realize how insanely difficult it would be to survive. Coming from the kind of culture we live in now, like the culture shock of it alone, I think would do a lot of people in. On the other side of it, if we had like a meteor type situation, I'd totally be down to Bruce Willis it and go up there and, set off a nuke for
Yeah.
the world.
I am not associated with these two Debbie Downers who are trying to burn down the world.
That's right.
Okay?
You're
I
ready
just-
to go. You're at your farm. You're like homesteaded up somewhat.
I'm living to 125 and looking and feeling like
See,
this.
I've been telling people the truth, which is that I am 500/immortal for the past, I don't know, since
gotta do
people
what
have
you
been
gotta
asking
do.
how old I am. Which has been a long time because I look really young for 500/immortal.
It always-
So people ask me a lot, and that's what I have to tell them.
It always it always changes though, because if I remember right, you just celebrated a birthday and you labeled it as your 105th birthday.
105.
You
Well,
did not.
Facebook says that I'm 105 years old.
Accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, social media never lies.
Social media never lies.
The internet doesn't lie.
No.
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 So you're
There's no such thing. The propaganda doesn't exist, and that's how you know that it's working.
Right. So 105.
105.
Happy
Really
birthday.
500/immortal. It just wouldn't let me raise my age above 105 on Facebook. So,
That's a little ageist of Mark Zuckerberg.
yeah,
Yeah.
very personally insulting. But, it is what it is. You can't expect much from social media these days, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
Katie, thanks for coming down.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome.
Yeah, welcome. Katie, I already told you this before we started, but my secret plan was to lure you down here and impress you enough to put me in your film festival that you're putting on right now, called the Lake Effect Film Fest.
Yes, the bag is out, or the cat is out of the bag.
Yeah,
they know your
I
trick.
just came out with the truth. See, I wouldn't lie. I tell people my real age, and I tell the people my true intentions of bringing you down here today to be on my podcast.
And what he didn't tell you is I was going to come down to talk about things that interest you and like soften the blow a little bit, like a little bit of like a comedic anchor. You're like, wow, that's a fast approach. You know what? I like these guys. I think I will take their film.
They did their research. We're talking about movies. We're talking about horses. We're talking about cats.
Absolutely.
It's good.
It was a smart move. And it'll probably still fail anyway because as any of our normal listeners who follow us already know that we've been rejected by every film festival that we've entered in. I actually just got another rejection letter earlier today from saying that we weren't selected. But you know what, Dave? We're going to keep making movies.
Take it
all
and
those
use
people that are judging Karanormal, we're fuck you guys. Fuck you guys. No, not too bad though, because like we might apply again some other time and hopefully you'll let us in then. So, but for right now, it's fuck you, okay? If you're watching this.
I'm not standing by that message.
We don't subscribe.
I think that you guys are wonderful and that you have some very tough decisions to make with a lot of aspiring and well-intentioned filmmakers. So not fuck you. I had a professor in college, like a creative writing professor, that used to say, like, he was an older guy, but he was like, my whole bathroom at my house was filled. Like I turned my walls with wallpaper into rejection letters, and that's how you know you've made it as a creative, at least in a writing or like film sense.
True. In any endeavor, like whether it's, corporate or film or music, that's it.
That's how it goes for sure.
Yeah.
100%. And if you're not failing, you're not trying. And if you're not failing, you're probably not learning a whole heck of a lot.
So you fix your attitude over there,
Yeah,
mister.
okay. Well, I just said we're not giving up. We're still making it. Me and Dave had like not really a big brainstorming session, but we've had some good conversation recently about the next movie that we're going to make and starting to develop it. It's not really a movie though. It's going to be a series of disjointed shorts. And we got like 3 or 4 episodes, like roughly ideas, themes, whatever that need to get crunched down into something a little bit more of a script and less of text messages about what we think should happen in them. But that's part of it, you know what I mean? We said we were going to take a break and then we're going to start hitting it hard probably in November and spending some more time developing scripts and doing fun stuff like that. We're also going to do a writing contest. What do you think about this? We're going to do a writing contest. So it's going to be a series of disjointed shorts. It's going to be called 2064. It's going to be a spinoff of 1984. Great. Except it's 2064. So people our age are going to be like fucking 80 years old or however old we are then. And it's going to be a series of disjointed shorts. So they're all going to be pretty individualized and not really connecting other than like a dystopian future scape. And we're going to do a writing contest for one of the episodes. So whoever wins the writing contest, we're going to make their script into one of the shorts.
Of people or like
we're going to open it. We'll accept it from literally anybody.
Wow. Brave.
Yeah. Well,
brave.
I mean, hopefully we get some good ones.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're going to spend a lot of time reading scripts that are, I don't know, weird.
It's going to take me back. Because when I was in school, and this is an interesting coincidence, but when I was in school at Barron, I was on the editor's staff for their international literary journal, Lake Effect. And that's what we used to do was get like poetry and nonfiction and fiction submissions and read them. And there was good ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in everybody. Like there's creativity in everybody. It's just whoever decides to pursue that or let their soul express that. So absolutely.
Yeah, we're excited. And a couple people that we talked to that we know are writers are interested in submitting. So hopefully we end up with something cool. And if if nobody enters, we'll just make that last one ourselves, you know? That's the way it goes. It's just sometimes it's hard to get people to participate in things, especially in stuff they don't normally do, like writing scripts, you know?
Yeah, and when your stuff has rejection, how we were talking about, when there's that potential for rejection.
It's scary.
Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
Look at what you just did.
Yeah, look what I just did. Look at this whole planning and all of these things I did just to try
Just
to
to get
not
me
get
here.
a rejection letter, you know, one more rejection letter. No, but we've been talking so much. I feel like I want to hear about your film festival, Lake Effect
Great.
Film Festival.
Great.
It's in November.
It's in November 22nd.
We are submitted. We're a candidate.
You were our first submission.
Woo! Yeah,
First.
I saw it and put it in right away.
I know.
Yeah.
I loved it. I just love when creatives are good in communication and on a deadline. Like, there's nothing that just lights my heart up. And I'm like, oh,
It's there. It's done.
it
It's
was
in.
on time.
Yeah.
It's complete. It's in.
We did our best.
You did great.
Thank you.
Yes.
So, lots of other submissions.
A few others. We're going to be keeping it open until November 1st. And I imagine working with creatives, there's going to be a lot coming on November 1st.
Yeah.
That's
Last
my
minute,
vibe.
for sure. That's the way
Yeah.
production usually goes. I feel like we finished Karanormal probably like a week before it was supposed to premiere.
Really?
Yeah, I don't ever want to do that again.
Yeah. Well, deadlines and all of that stuff were good in keeping me focused. Otherwise, I'm a bit of a procrastinator. So, where's the film fest going to be?
It's going to be at 1020 Collective downtown by the baseball field.
Yeah, love it there.
Very
Fantastic spot.
Love it there. Love Sarah Moody and her husband who own that space and run it. Just good vibes, good art. Yeah, we're planning on having food. We're planning on, I want it to be like a very fancy event. I'm coming in full glam. Not like I am now. But you should come in full glam.
We
Come
dressed
on.
up for our premiere too.
Oh yeah.
That was part of it.
Where did you guys premiere?
We
the film?
premiered at Feed in the
Okay.
back of the Democratic headquarters or the Democrat headquarters back there. So it was like punk rock glam
Yeah.
slash
Yeah.
punk rock film festival because it's not like a completely finished space.
Yeah.
But they let us use it for like a really reasonable price, and they
Cool.
have like all the projectors and the screens and stuff we needed. We love Feed. Benton's amazing. All the people there were great. But it wasn't quite full glam. I call it more punk rock than glam.
We love a theme.
Right.
We love a theme. Lake Effect Film Festival, full glam.
Full glam.
Full glam.
That's okay.
I want a red carpet. We're getting
Nice.
the nice little backdrop so people can take pictures.
Cool.
Press will be there. We're going all out because I
Nice.
don't do anything halfway.
Good. Yeah.
Are we going like James Bond tuxedo mode?
Yes.
All black. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm in.
Okay, you didn't sound convinced there.
No, I'm in.
I'm in.
I fucking love getting dressed up. I'll
Good.
go out and buy all new shit for this just
Please.
because that's the way I like to do it.
Please, we're doing little
You know-
floating candles on the tables for our
Nice.
sponsors. Just zesty.
Yeah.
Zesty and sexy.
I wish I would have worked a little bit more on prepping and having more press and stuff like that. I feel like I almost died out too early because we did that crowdfunder and that was that was a lot of work to raise the money to make this film. And I feel like I kind of burnt out before I was able to put together enough plans to make our premiere really put together with press and a red carpet and stuff like that. And we also ran out of money after a certain point. For
We
sure.
did run out of money.
Totally understand.
But
Totally understand. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but it was great. People showed up and everybody's received the film really well. So
Great.
awesome. I'm looking forward to your festival though.
Yeah. Me
It's
too.
gonna be great. I'm gonna wear a suit.
Good.
How many films are you gonna have?
It kind of depends. It depends on submissions. We were talking a little bit before. My goal would be to have more films, and then we're also working closely with Drew Whiting and Five Iron. This was actually his idea.
Oh, wow.
I was meeting with him on a different project actually entirely, and he was like, hey, I think you should do a film festival. And I was like, huh, I'll think about it. And then a few weeks later, I was at 1020 Collective, and Sarah Moody was like, do you want to do a film festival here? I was like, world.
Wow.
Heard.
Yeah.
Heard.
Giving you signs for sure.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, let's just do it. And I really wanted a place to celebrate everything that we are making as a team at Rhoxon, everything that the community is making. I really feel like there's a lot of excitement and just a lot of hope. Just a lot of hope, especially, coming out of COVID. It feels artistically like something's about to happen. Does that make sense?
No, sure.
That sounds hippy dippy, and I apologize.
No, I like that.
No, it's
I
all good.
appreciate it. It's appreciated for sure.
I mean, it's been a while since we've talked about that exact thing, but like definitely something in the 2+ years we've been podcasting that gets talked about a lot is coming out of COVID. How like Erie's like this like mid to really like small town, small city with like a huge vibrant art community with a lot of
Yeah.
It's
super
growing
talented
and
people.
Yeah.
Prospering.
Yeah, that's kind of how we were born. Is I was living in New York. Oop, there's just a little spider guy. I'm just
Oh, no.
gonna-
It's okay.
Where's
It's okay.
our
I
manager?
didn't kill him.
Yeah,
for all
where's
the viewers.
where's our studio manager? She needs to take care of that.
Ma'am?
That's her job.
What's her name?
Gideon.
Gideon. Mm-hmm. I love that. I hope she comes and says hello. But anyway, I was living in New York City before COVID, working 5 jobs, auditioning 5 times a day, loving it, truly loving it. And when COVID happened, our grocery store ran out of food, and the family I was nannying, they were like, come live with us, and you don't have to barter for groceries.
Nice.
And I said, I just didn't come here to like do that. I came here to be an actor. So that's how I ended up back in Erie, and was to be quite vulnerable with you guys, pretty ticked off about it. Like I was always one of those girls who was like, when I graduate, I'm never coming back.
Right.
I'm gonna visit my parents on Christmas, and that's it. And then I find myself living here, and we were all pretty low morale-wise. Bought the horse.
There you go. Nice.
Yep. People got dogs. I got a really big one. And was like, okay, so you can sit here and be ticked off, or you can do something about it. And like during that like mindset shift, I got linked up with a few local entrepreneurs who like saw something in my sad stupor and really helped me out of that. And over 2024, over the last 4 years have been coaching me on business ownership. And so using business ownership in a way to gain artistic agency, if that makes sense.
No, definitely.
That makes me really excited.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
awesome.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I feel like that's a common theme among a lot of people who leave, at least recently amongst my
Yeah.
friend group. There's a mass return
Yes.
for a lot of the people that left and were like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm never coming back. It's going to be great. Big city life for me for the rest of forever.
Yeah. And we're all back here.
A lot of them are.
Yeah. Not all. I don't. And being back here is not a bad thing.
No,
I've
it's
learned.
not. No,
I've learned, yeah.
everybody that's back here is super happy about the quality of life improvements that they've seen in living in a small city compared to living in a place like New York or Chicago or Miami or wherever they're from.
The
Yeah.
only people I've found that have anything bad to say, are the ones that left and never came back. I've seen a lot of that, of people being like, that place is a dump. But everybody that comes back is like, this is a little different from what I remember it.
Yeah, I really like trees, and I had kind of forgotten about trees in New York.
Yeah.
And then once I rediscovered trees, and my husband and I were looking at some houses, I said, oh, I really like having more than like one room. Yeah,
Yeah,
that feels
that's
like
cool.
a big luxury.
Right.
And you couldn't have your horse in New York.
No, I wouldn't have a horse.
Right.
If I had stayed there, I wouldn't have a horse. All sorts of things. Like, I wouldn't have started a production company. I wouldn't have man, just all sorts of things that it's funny how the God or the universe, whatever you subscribe to, like works things out even when you're in chaos.
Sure.
Another hippy dippy thing. I'm so sorry.
No,
You don't have to be
you
sorry.
really don't need to be sorry about that stuff here.
Just comes out.
No, it's good. And one of the other fun things or cool things or whatever about being here too is that I think when you're in a smaller city like Erie, it's easier to have a bigger impact in that area. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Because like,
Yeah.
How many film festivals are there in New York? Like combining all
yeah,
the
probably
boroughs?
hundreds.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Tribeca just because it's so famous, but I'm sure there are so many film festivals.
And I think there are, when ours starts, I think there are 2 here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's huge.
It is.
It's a lot.
It
and
is.
The amount of people that are going to become and be impacted, and all of the people that want to make films and stuff will have like a little bit of a hope shot now. You know what I mean? Which is a much
Yeah.
bigger thing. Maybe not a much bigger thing, but like a more impactful thing for a smaller city like Erie versus the abundance and plethora of opportunities that are available in a place like New York City or another big city that's known for their film and their arts, you know?
My
Los
whole
Angeles.
goal, sorry.
No.
Please.
I just said Los Angeles. That's
Yeah.
the only,
Oh.
yeah.
Yes.
Don't worry about me. Sometimes I just think out loud. I apologize.
No, I love it. I love it. You heard all my philosophical musings. But our company's whole purpose is to create industry jobs in Erie that are comparable to what they would be in New York or LA, and to give people the chance, truly, to like what we were talking about before. You got to fail.
Yeah.
And what our team is really, really good at is taking someone who's rather green and guiding them with grace and kindness and going, here's what we're going to do. Here's what I need you to do. And here's what we're going to do next. And just really going from step to step. And things might take a little bit longer with hand holding, but in the end, we're all stronger for that.
Absolutely.
Boom.
Very nice.
Yeah.
It's a good goal, good philosophy, good thing
Yeah.
to stand by. It's nice. I'm sure the people that are coming up greatly appreciate it.
I hope so. I have one of my good friends from high school. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this. She has a very big government job. She's very important. We went to high school together, and man, I hope I don't get in trouble for saying that. We should be okay. I think we're okay. But she had never been on a film set before. And we were finishing silver work. She did hair and makeup, and then she acted in it. And she was like, this is amazing. I want to do this with you forever. And I said, congratulations. You will.
Right. Very nice.
Yeah.
It's amazing to get that first taste. And when we went into our film, we had never done any of this stuff. Like ever.
yeah.
Like me and Dave, like I've never worked on a set before. I've
Really?
never
No, me
directed anything.
Oh my
I've never
gosh.
done like light work or color
Yeah.
like color grading on the scale that I was doing for this, or editing or any of that stuff. Like it was all just like, okay, like we
Wow.
decided we're going to do this, and here we fucking go. And a bunch of
Yeah.
people rallied around us, and like it was a really good script. So I think that attracted some positive talent as far as our actors went.
Yeah.
And you know, it was just like, and people gave us money. That was the really crazy part
Yeah,
too.
money
They
was
gave us a
cool.
bunch of money to go out and do something that we've never done before and have no like
Yeah.
real skill or talent or whatever. We kind of just like figured
Something
it out.
new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I'd never finished a script. I've written like short stories, you know, novellas type stuff, poetry, but I'd never done a script. I'd never done a screenplay. When it came time to be on set, boy, did I love being the slate guy.
Dave was our
It was
clacker.
enjoyable.
Yeah.
I call it the clacker.
That's a great job.
Yeah.
My
Clacker
assistant.
is great job.
It was such a good job. And I mean, like, it wasn't just that, like, you know,
Dave was like he was in charge of the clipboard. I feel like
Yeah.
I've seen this on, because I went and saw Oddity Productions' new film. I was an extra for them, and they have
Cool.
they also have a clipboard, just like Dave's clipboard that he had that took all the notes and wrote down the scenes and the takes and all that stuff too.
That is what you do.
An official job.
It is. People get paid a lot of money to hold
be
the clipboard.
Yeah.
Yo, so
they keep things running.
Right.
Yeah.
if anybody needs a clipboard slate guy, call me.
Right.
Number below right now.
Yes.
gosh.
We'll put it on there.
Yeah, that's amazing that you guys just had the gusto to say, this is something we've always wanted to do. Let's freaking do it.
Yeah. Well, I shouldn't say that it came out of nowhere though, because we'd been doing the podcast for like 2 years.
Almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years at the time. So, and I've been doing photography, and we did like some other little like film projects, or I've done like little other small film projects. Like I made a little video for my friend's wedding, and we made like a music video for a parody song that we wrote a long time ago. Yeah.
I want to see that.
It's called What's My Wage Again? And it's a parody of Blink-182's What's My Age Again? And it's
amazing.
Like the thing I'm most proud of out of all of that is definitely our lyrics. Our lyrics are so fucking, to me, I think they're genius.
Awesome.
Yeah. But we did those things, and then we went and saw Something in a Universe, Time in a Universe, whatever Oddity Productions' new thing was at the time, and we're like, dude, we could fucking do this. And then next thing we know, we had a script. I told Dave to write a script, and a couple months later he had one for me, and it was really good.
Boom.
And we came up with the idea, and then at that point, like, the momentum just carried us through everything.
Yeah.
But it would have been so cool to like be on a set and actually have somewhat of an idea of what I was doing before I was like, oh yeah, here we go, let's fucking do it. And for what it's worth, I do think it went like really well as far as our production goes.
And there were multiple people that worked with us that did an incredible job, but I always, when we talk about this, give a huge shout out to Jesse James.
Yeah.
Big fan.
Because
we are big fans of Jesse James.
He's
here.
a beast.
Big stands.
Because we had Matt Boland, he did the sound, incredible work, and then we had
Actors.
our actors who had experience, but like Jesse rolled in, he had all this equipment where like Tony or one of us, mostly Tony, would be like, this is the idea, this is what we're trying to do. He's like, this is how we do it for like some special effects. Man, he made our lives like a million times easier.
Yeah.
Well, and like there are people like Jesse, Braden McLean, like there are people here who just have so much talent and heart and just are,
and passion. I mean,
stuff.
I don't know the other individual, but Jesse just loves what he does so much.
Good
I
job,
think I met
Jesse.
Braden one time before. And like the thing is I wish that all of these people, I knew them before we got into this. Like we a couple weeks before we went into production, I brought Liam over for a podcast so I could kind of get I did like the same thing I did with you to kind of bring him over here to gain their knowledge. Like that's really
Not me. He doesn't tell me this beforehand. I'm on your side, I promise.
right. I secretly bribe people by inviting them on my podcast so I can pick
love
their
that.
brain and learn from them.
But that's really smart. Like you want to find the people, and I do this too. I find the people who are where I want to be, and I go, okay, what did they do to get there? And if you have, the opportunity to talk to them and see how crazy they are, like you guys get to today, then
Yeah, it's great.
Boom.
It's always a winning prospect.
The one thing I would like to do before we make our next series of short films, excuse me, it's a soda. I apologize. Excuses.
I'll mute it out for you later.
Thank you. No, you won't, but I do appreciate it.
Maybe not.
Make
Maybe
it a
not.
little TikTok. Just have it loop.
Yeah, that's what's gonna. Okay. Side note. We've been talking for these last couple years, like, what do we need to do to like make it? And it's like we're both like, we just need to do. Well, it's you make the TikTok, but it's like it has to just be something stupid. What do we do? This will be it. It's just me like burping into a microphone and looking all gross, and it's like 1 million views. Look at this fucking weirdo.
Success.
Like,
Success.
but what I want to do is meet and get to know some more actors around the area.
Yeah.
To have a
And
people.
that's one of the goals of the Lake Effect Film Festival is who do we have here How can we create a space where we can all, oh, you do this, I do this. Is there a potential for a working relationship?
Yeah, for sure.
Like that's something too that we want to help do, because I feel like there are a lot of little pockets, doing their own thing, and that's great. That's great. There's nothing wrong with that, but just to have the option, hey, I know so and so is really good at this, I know is really good at this, right? Just to have that Rolodex, that's an old people word, that Rolodex of names in your head. Yeah.
No, definitely. And that also is part of like the whole thing behind the podcast when we started, is we wanted like to enrich and become a part of the community that shares like the different things that are going on, because like I'd never heard of Rhoxon Productions, I'd never heard of Oddity Productions until I had a fucking podcast, and now
you brought them on to manipulate them,
and steal their knowledge,
Squeeze everything out of
yes. No, but like that was the whole goal, was to like let people know that there are good things happening on here, whether you want to make films, whether you want to have a podcast, whether you want to make music or go into politics or business, be an entrepreneur, or whatever it is.
Spirituality.
If you want to gain some spiritual knowledge, whatever it is, we try to cover that. Everything at once, baby.
Boom.
Boom.
Good job, guys.
That's our elevator pitch.
That's great. Good job.
Now imagine that exact same pitch, but we're wearing tuxedos at a very ritzy event at the 1020
You know
Collective.
what I need?
Oh, wow, yeah.
That you guys can think of. We'll talk about this later.
Okay.
Now. We'll talk about, because I actually might need help with something similar to this. Anyway.
Love to.
Great.
But yeah, it's fantastic, and it's good that like our goal is the same as so many other goals. You know what I mean?
Good.
Like, not only obviously we're trying to, go out and do things and share the word, but you're also trying to pull together this community around this festival and around Rhoxon Studios. So is so many other different guests that we've had, you know what I mean? But which is also one of the nice things about Erie, is that we're like small enough that you actually know your neighbor or your provider of whatever service or whatever good that is, instead of it being a nameless, faceless entity out in the abyss. You know what I mean?
I just finished, or I am finishing, the Erie Made Business Accelerator, and that has been very, very helpful. And I have a need. Who do we have in our network that can help me with this need? And then the heads of that program go out and go, who do we have? And then get them in contact with me, start that initiation of conversation, and just help get the ball rolling on that. So that, highly recommend if you guys...
Erie Business Accelerator.
Erie Made Business Accelerator Program, Bridgeway Capital out of Pittsburgh.
I'm familiar with Bridgeway Capital, and I don't know. We were sent to the SBDC, and we're... I don't know. I don't want to talk. I don't want to. We were sent to SBDC.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
The Small Business Development Center at Gannon.
Yes.
And
with the beehive.
Yeah.
And
it just didn't work.
It didn't work out for us.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. Completely different.
Yeah.
Completely different.
That's what it sounds like. Like you're.
And we're big beehive fans here.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no,
For me.
I think they were cool.
For sure.
We almost ended up recording our podcast down there before we decided to just go on and get our own stuff.
I'm a big believer in doing it yourself.
Yeah, me too.
Man.
And everything that I've needed to learn to be able to do any of this stuff is all on YouTube, pretty much. Yeah.
There you go.
Did you go to film school?
I have a BFA in acting from Penn State, and I minored in vocal performance. So we took some film classes, and I did a few student films there. But theater was really my big heart. And then COVID, I was like, well, this isn't sustainable.
Boo.
Still love theater. Still love it. But I really see film as like the future. And I don't mean to hate on theater. I love theater. I love going to shows. I love I love it. There's something about a group of people together all in one room doing this thing together and everybody's
totally
watching.
agree.
And someone messes up the line and that's like the best part for the audience and the worst part for the actor. There's just something really magical about that. But you just never know when the next global pandemic's going to be.
Right.
Right. But
Yeah.
also, for a callback to the beginning of the episode here, it's good that you have the education and training, because
Yes.
if there's a full-blown apocalypse, we're going to need theater.
I will enter. Okay, so I've got my vegetables. I've got the horse. I have my guard dog. I'm gonna entertain everybody, guys. I am ready.
You're ready.
I am. If the world shuts down, I am ready.
Taking over.
Queen Katie,
Woo.
hear me roar.
You
yeah.
could,
Go you.
I mean, let's bring back the traveling actors troupe, acting troupe, go from town to
like
town.
the circus
gosh.
kind
Yeah.
of.
I did. I wrote a one-woman musical called 52 Pickup, which is like a dark comedy musical about coping from trauma, so post-traumatic incident. How do you get your life back together? How do you get out of bed when you don't want to get out of bed? How do you manage the meeting when you're having a panic attack, kind of a deal? And I toured it throughout Canada. I was in New York. I was in DC. I did a few schools. But that touring circus moment, I absolutely felt. Absolutely. I had in my car at all times, I had my piano. I had all of my sound equipment. I had my guitar. I had 9 costume changes.
Nice.
So it was wild. I had a, what are those things, like a chaise lounge for like the beach? I had one of those, and then like comforters for it to make it look like a bed.
Nice.
So my car was full all the time. So that is a little triggering for me, but it worked out.
It sounds like sounds kind of fun.
It does sound
It definitely
kinda
sounds fun.
High highs and low lows, and I think that's just anything for an artist too. Like, you're gonna have really great moments, and with that piece particularly, I wrote that kind of selfishly because I wanted to be on stage for 55 minutes and sing what I wanted to sing and move how I wanted to move. And I didn't realize how much of an impact it would have on people to talk about like healing, especially from like sexual trauma in such like a open, funny kind of way, and people coming up to me going, "Thank you for saying the words that I had no idea that I needed to say." And I'm being like, "Whoa, I'm just an actor here." Like,
Yeah.
whoa.
Easy there, people.
Yeah. But that was it was amazing. It was amazing. And, there are nights that the soundboard doesn't work, and there are nights where someone knocks over the lamp, and it's all part of it.
Right.
It's all part of
Becomes
it.
part of the show.
Yeah.
It's
Sorry,
interesting.
that was kind of a tangent.
No, that's
No.
cool.
We love
Boom.
tangents
Yeah,
here.
that
Love it.
everything at once.
Boom.
Boom. Got to drop that at least 3 times an episode, I think.
Boom. You got 2 more.
Woo. No, that was 2.
Oh, crap.
If
It's
we-
okay. I'm keeping track. No worries.
Good. It's your brand, not mine.
No, I never thought about like traveling actors very much, but I guess that's definitely a thing. Usually when I think of I think of like traveling musicians, you know what I mean, like touring. But I guess they're
All the Broadway tours, all the non-union tours, that's what they do. That's their life. They're in a city one week, they're in a new city next week. Yeah.
And you were all by yourself doing it,
Yes.
like traveling around.
My dad came with me on my first tour stop because he was so scared for his eldest daughter.
Oh.
And we just had, there were a few things that like weren't communicated, like just some miscommunications between us and the festival that made things, I don't want to say bad, but like just like threw a wrench in a few things, and that's okay. There's always gonna be
Sure.
some wrenches. But me and my dad we'd do the show, we'd go out to eat, and we'd watch Peaky Blinders and play Monopoly.
Nice. I'm
So
watching
it was
Peaky Blinders right now.
first time.
No.
Oh, so good.
Second time. The movie's coming out soon, so we had
I
to
can't
like
talk
refresh.
about it. I'm too like I could cry. Love that TV show.
Yeah.
Love.
I definitely put it probably in top 10 for
Top
sure.
3.
Top 3.
Top 3.
I'd say top 5. I would
was
really
that
have to
look?
think about.
I've never watched it.
Oh no, Dave doesn't watch TV.
I
he
don't watch
reads.
TV. I read.
It is really good though.
I'm sorry.
I would have to
You
like.
can read.
I feel like it could probably fit into my top. I would have to really, really think about
Okay.
it if I was
Okay.
going to try and pick a top 5.
That's fine. It's a hard choice. You do have to watch stuff if you're gonna write stuff. I just mommed you there. I'm sorry.
No, tell him.
Honey, you do have to watch some things to write some things.
I watch things in my brain when I hallucinate scenes that I create off the page that I read.
Sure. Totally hear you. Totally love that. But you gotta watch the things that are doing well and study why they're. I'm momming you. I'm so sorry. This
No, it's
is
okay.
what
Tell
I've
him.
been doing. This is okay.
That's
I'm
what we
only
brought you here
passionate
for.
about
To tell
this.
us things that we need to hear.
You told me to tell you what to do. Here I am.
Yeah.
So I am working on a horror script right now. And my second draft, my director said, nope. And we had to start the whole thing over. And she said, before you start, you need to watch these 9 movies and read this book. And then you can start the next draft.
Okay.
And
What movies were they? Do you remember any of them?
Of course. The Pearl series, what's the first movie in that? X?
I don't know.
X Maxine. It's like X Pearl Maxine. What's the?
I don't know those ones. I don't really watch
Okay.
a lot of horror movies.
That trilogy. Jennifer's Body, Apartment 7A. I've just had them on. Midsummer. Any of the A24 horror stuff we've just had on like rerun in my house, and my poor husband's like, "Can we watch something on YouTube?" And I'm like, "No." I really loved that Pearl. I loved Pearl. That was an awesome, especially for a sequel or a prequel. That was an awesome prequel. Highly recommend.
I will have to check it
X,
out.
Pearl, and Maxine is the new one that just
My friend
came
was
out.
just asking about horror recommendations, and the only horror movie that I've really watched that I really loved recently in the past couple of years was Vivarium.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
It's super. I don't know. It's like horror adjacent too. It's not like blood, gore, horror, scary monster horror.
I like the horror. I like when you don't really know what you're walking into.
Yeah.
I think that's fun.
It's
That's
more
how
like
I felt.
this.
Yeah, that's how I felt about Apartment 7A, because she's like a dance. It's the like a prequel for Rosemary's Baby, and
That's a good movie.
it is.
I do watch movies, but like I don't talk about it much because these are the people I like to watch. Robert Redford.
Oh, I thought you were pointing to the squares. I was
just
like,
gonna pop
where
up.
These are what
This is
I
like
am I?
super high tech. This is actually the 11 actors that I like.
It's a screen.
You're like,
it's a
"Here's
blue
what I like
screen
to
instead of a
watch."
green screen. It's about to change.
I like Robert Redford.
Great.
I like Paul Newman.
Great.
I like Meryl Streep.
Love.
I love Meryl Streep. John Malkovich.
Great.
And I'm a big fan of Joe Pesci.
Okay. Great.
So like I've watched a lot of old movies. I like
Gotta
old
get out of your
movies.
comfort zone. Come
I
on.
mean, I watch them.
We got to trend like the kids do.
Or do we?
If we want to be, if I want to quit my job in a couple of years,
I like stories that are like we were just talking about this when we finished the last film, like something that I've been writing on my own. It's not like a screenplay right now. It's more like a short story. But I like movies like something along the lines of like A Love Song for Bobby Long. It's a John
Okay.
Travolta movie. I don't know if you know it, but like movies like that are just like based in the mundanity of reality.
Yeah.
That aren't like sci-fi or twists or big explosions. It's just people living life.
Yeah.
And the greatness of it is pulled from the way that the people act. Those are my favorite types
Yeah.
of movies.
like a This Is Us kind of, where it's like the family.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my dream one day, to do a series that I don't want to say like has the heart of a Grey's Anatomy, but I don't want to be in a hospital at all. But if Jamie Castro needs my help, I'm happy to help. She's the casting director for that show. But that like family feel of I love you, but you're being an idiot, kind
Right.
of very like Chekhov.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think that I almost want to take back what I said about us needing to trend if I'm going to quit my job eventually. because like I greatly appreciate the art value of being able to express ourselves however we want and saying fuck everybody else and we're doing it for us. But that isn't going to help me quit my job if I'm doing it just for us. Or maybe it will. Maybe people will appreciate that. But
there's something to be said about authenticity, like finding what your guys' thing is. You know, like what is the thing that you feel like you do special? Mm-hmm. And then sharing that with the people who it resonates with.
I guess I am, like, I like to think of myself as optimistic in a lot of ways, and I am, but like the material, the media that I consume, I find myself at this point in my life being more a fan of things that end realistically. They end disappointingly. Like the sad thing happens and it doesn't miraculously overturn itself. It kind of, in ways, happened in our movie.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
I definitely
Very Canadian.
very Canadian.
Yeah.
But I like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
our next one's not going to be a fucking super happy series either.
No.
At least it's not
No.
shaping up to be that way
No.
at this time.
And and it's old now because time just goes so fast. But horror movies, like something that fits into that category that I loved was the first Creep. How like that ends with like, you know, not good. You know, I'm like, okay, that's what would actually
Spoiler,
happen.
A lot of them don't end good in the horror genre.
Yeah, but like, I've always wanted to write like a slasher flick, even though they're kind of cheesy, because I love talking with people. Like, all right, if there was 7 or 8 of it, like if the 3 of us, that's not enough. But if there was like 8 of us here, it's like, what order would people die? Who would
I would
live?
survive.
And who would the killer be? Of course,
You would give up.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't give up. I wouldn't give up. I say the same thing every time. If I was in a slasher film, I'd write myself into this the same way. Or if it was real life, I would totally be the person that would be like, whoa, it's dark and scary out here. Let's like go investigate. And then I'd get like my head chopped off or whatever. Because
Did
I'd
you
make a
guys-
joke out of it.
I feel like that's not how you would ever react in real life, though.
Well, that's the person that doesn't know murders are going on. Like, if I knew that people were getting murdered, I'd be a total pussy.
Yes.
But at first, like, that's the person that goes out and does something before they know anyone's dead. So I
Yeah.
guess it would depend on that. Like, if someone died, I'd be like, we're all going back to back Scooby-Doo style.
Yeah.
Don't take your eyes off of
Heck
anything.
yeah. What's Tony doing in that film? And what would you do in like real life though if you're in that circumstance?
I'd find a weapon and I'd probably leave.
Great.
Yeah?
I'd bunker.
You'd bunker?
Bunker.
You're going to fight the beast?
No, I'd hide.
You'd hide
I'd
from
hide.
the beast
I feel like I'm a really good hider.
until everyone's gone.
Well, it's not
Yeah.
a beast, though. It's a person. This is a hot take you might not like, but I could totally see you being the killer.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I am that. I did just admit to like
Yeah.
manipulating and trying to steal the wisdom of other people that I invite on my podcast, which is probably a little bit on the
I think that's smart.
sociopathic borderline thing, maybe.
People pay a lot of money for mentorship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's smart.
I think if it-
that's the least serial killer thing about you.
I
Oh,
think-
nice. Good.
I think if it was like a real life thing or made into the movie, he'd definitely be the killer. But no.
Wow.
He'd definitely be the killer, but he'd make sure to keep me alive, and then find a way to pin it on me.
Oh, like your
He's
cute
my
little
scapegoat.
buddy. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be
fun.
so.
That's the
pissed.
plan too. One Dave wins the presidential election in a couple years after he's done being a lawyer.
love
is
that for
that
you.
Dave is going to be president, but I'll be the deep state who's actually doing everything. That's the overall plan. Dave's just a face.
Yeah. I mean, we got a lot of stuff going on. I'm all about perpetuating yourself into the future. So, like, we want to
Yeah.
write some movies. We want to be wearing tuxedos at your awesome event.
Hello.
We're watching you grow and all this stuff. But
Yeah.
in the meantime, I'm going to be working on my 2044 presidential bid.
I'm, you know what? I'm a big believer of the vision,
Yes.
whatever that may be.
Manifest it.
Yes. Did you guys ever watch the TV show Psych? It was on USA way back when.
Very little bit, but not
Okay.
really.
This is big nerdy. So there's an episode called, I think it's season 3, called Tuesday the 17th, and it's a spoof of Friday the 13th, where they do like a cabin slasher, and it's
Nice.
good. I think that would be good homework for you guys.
What about, this is where I first got the idea as a kid, the Halloween episode of Boy
So
Meets
good.
World.
That is such
Where
a
Mr. Feeney's
deep
killing
cut.
everybody.
How dare you?
It's
Boy
so
Meets
good.
World right now.
You
So
know what I'm
good.
talking about.
Of course
Yeah.
I do. Of course. That or like the That's So Raven deep cut. The That's So Raven Halloween episode where they become cows. That's good fun.
Like
I don't remember that one.
I don't have
One of you do.
one of you do.
Somebody out there does, for sure.
Come on.
I don't have the kind of like brain power. I have brain power, but I don't have the kind of knowledge that makes me like a millionaire. But I remember that welcome to John Adams High, where you
Yes.
all are gonna die.
Yes,
You know, and I haven't
so
seen that
good.
episode in 20 years, but that's still there.
There's my husband and I just got into the Star Kid musicals on YouTube, and the Nerdy Prudes Must Die horror musical is our favorite. So fun, so camp.
There's so much
scary.
good stuff on YouTube these days. Love. Yeah.
Love. Yeah, we've been into. Well, we like found Star Kid through Smosh, and we're big like improv people. Like,
Dude.
make me laugh.
I'm watching the funniest improv show I've ever seen in my entire life right now.
Yeah, what is it?
It's called Ghost Stories.
On
And
YouTube?
no, it's not on YouTube. It's an anime from 2000s. But
Oh
apparently
my
they
gosh.
didn't have any sort of script. It was just like, hey, we lost a bunch of money in Japan on this movie. We're going to dub it into American. Do your thing, guys.
Oh.
And it is like the dark, it's like old late 90s, early 2000s fucked up sense of humor.
What's it called?
It's called Ghost Stories.
Ghost. I'm writing it down.
It's honestly, I haven't laughed as hard as I have watching this show as like in quite a few years, because it's fucking hilarious and it's fucked up, and my inner child like really appreciates that old sense of humor from the 2000s.
My favorite drag queens are Katya and Trixie. Trixie and Katya. I don't know if that's a hot take, whichever one goes first. But they have we like to watch series with Netflix on YouTube, and they just did an episode called, I think it's Kath and Kel, which is like Australian early 2000s, like The Office vibes.
Oh, nice.
It was. I'm gonna watch the show. It was so cringe. It was amazing.
I love that.
I love watching people get embarrassed.
Yeah, it's good.
Over the last like 5 months, I've watched Band of Brothers,
Okay.
The Pacific, which is
Yeah.
the next one, and then I can't believe I'm saying this on air, but one of my guilty pleasures. I just find it so entertaining in downtime. When I have just little bits of time, I watch like old 1980s, 1990s wrestler promos.
Oh my god. So you do watch stuff.
I watch stuff.
Come on.
I watch stuff. I don't sit down a whole lot. If I have a 2-hour window, I'm usually grabbing a book and reading.
That's different. You
Like-
gotta make it a moment. you
Like
know?
when I watched Band of Brothers in the Pacific, I'd literally watch it in 20-minute increments.
I
Like,
totally understand.
I wouldn't even get through a whole episode when it would go to like a full cut to like, black.
understand.
I would stop the episode and then start it up the next day.
That's how I'm watching White Lotus right now.
Oh, White Lotus was pretty good. I didn't watch the second season, but I liked the first one a lot.
Just started season 2. I'm in. I know I'm a little late to the party, but man, good
No.
fun.
I liked it. I think we watched the first 2 episodes of season 2, and then I think it was like right when it was coming out, and we just forgot to keep watching it.
Life
you know?
happens.
Yeah.
There's a lot of content.
Yeah, there's a ton of content out there. So, how did you get into Rhoxon? How did Rhoxon take me back to like early days of
The
Rhoxon?
baby days. We're still in our baby days. We're end of October will be like we've completed our first year. So we're still like a bebe, to quote Moira. Rose. Thank you, le bebe. But we were making
She was so
silverware.
funny in the new Beetlejuice too.
Did you see it?
Yeah,
I thought
seen it yet.
I thought you said a baby like
Le
Hurricane Chris. But anyways,
No.
okay.
No.
So okay.
Different.
Early days.
So early days.
A year
Different, early
ago.
days.
And
A
you
year
already have
ago.
a film festival and you've made 2
Yeah.
movies. What the fuck have we been doing, dude?
This. We've been doing this. We've been doing this.
Sorry. But okay, so let's go back even further. So I got Mike Berlin, who just got an Emmy for The Chronicles. He's like a good family friend. His wife was my babysitter way back when she was one of my mom's students at Barrand. And I said, Mike, I want to redo my reel. I'm here in Erie. When I get back to New York, I want to just hit the ground running. Little did I know that I was
Not going back.
I love to visit, but I love my house with trees. Love it.
And a
but-
horse.
And a horse.
And horse, and dog, and cat, and
Garden.
yeah. Okay, I have a really good life.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
I'm living to 125. It's gonna be great. But I wanted to redo my reel and just feel good about like my package as an actor, and me and Braden started filming. Braden McLean, who also works on Chronicles, we met and just hit it off. Like we were at a Panera, and just like I was like, so we're best friends now. Good talk, good. And I had wrote some scenes to do a reel, and we were, working on something, and he was like, man, I really just want to do something fantasy. And I was like, well, I just finished the Sarah J. Maas books, A Court of Thorns and Roses, and that story is like blowing up on the internet right now. We could do something like that. And he was like, I don't care what it is, just go make it happen. So I wrote this script. I don't know why I paused there. I was really intentional because I'm so petrified of getting sued.
Sure.
Lawyer. I'm so petrified of getting sued that I was very intentional that it is inspired by, but there are some moments from the books in there, but nothing is word for word. Everything is kind of like my interpretation of that scene.
Sure.
So I wrote this script. One of my best friends is out in LA. She's an actor and a director, and does comedy. She's amazing. And I said, will you direct this? And she was like, sure, let's do it. And it kind of became like a band of brothers. Like the woman who plays Gwen, I play Nesta. Gwen, who's like Nesta's new best friend. She's Maria Weary. She's a Broadway actor. We were random roommates in college and became really, really good friends. So I said, hey, will you come do this? And she said, yep. And like my friend Laura, who I met doing an online musical during lockdown, we've gotten close, and I said, hey, you really look like this one character, come on in. So just we really kind of like, who do we know who looks like this person, who has the skill set that we can get here? And we did some crowdfunding, we did some grants, because it was really important to me that people got paid.
Same.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's and not like people got rich off of making silverware.
No,
but
they got incredibly underpaid for the amount of time and effort and talent that they all have.
Yeah. But they we had like a big sleepover my husband and I were in an apartment at the time. We had like actors on our couch. We had my friend who I mentioned who was doing the hair and makeup. She had actors at her house, and then all of our crew was based out of here. So we were just kind of like falling into it. Was getting bigger and bigger and bigger as it was going on. And what I am very intentional about is marketing, because I think people should know what you're doing, whether they like it or not. They should know you're doing it. Not that it's anyone's business or anything, but like if you're doing a cool thing, tell the world about your cool thing. That's kind of how I feel. So we shoot silver work, and it was our last day on set, and I'm in the car with the director. We were taking a food break or something. It was cold. It was the end of October, and she said, "Hey, the crew wants to know if you'd want to hire them again because they love working for you." And I was like, "What?" And they were like, they really want to be considered to be on your next project if you're going to have a next project. And I was like, that is really special because I'm very intentional about the kind of work environment that we had. Like, we took union breaks. So, like, everyone got fed. Everyone had a coat or two. Like, everyone was taken care of, and no one was ever unsafe. And that's kind of my MO. So that was like the first marker that this was becoming something. And then I had actors leaving just in tears, saying this is the most creatively rewarding experience I've ever had because of the team that we curated, that we just really love the art. And yes, we want everyone to be fed and be safe, but we're going to be on time. Gosh darn it, we're going to be on time.
Got a schedule.
We have a clipboard, we have a schedule, we have a clacker. We are going to be on time. But just to be able to hold a space for creatives where they know their time isn't going to be taken advantage of, especially with like documentaries coming out like Quiet on Set, Child Star. There are all these spaces where people have been manipulated. And I've felt a little bit of that too in my experience. And some of it's not intentional, some of it's systemic, but like we really go out of our way to create a safe space. So that was all kind of happening, and then I said, we can really do something here. So I started Rhoxon Productions, which is the nonprofit part of things. So because silver work is inspired by a work of Sarah J. Maas, it can't technically create income. So the point of Rhoxon Productions is to create jobs and learning and educational opportunities here in Erie to help kind of bring up the film town, like teach people, like you guys who are looking for experience, someone to teach you, even if you just manipulate them on your podcast, like how can we bring you in and pay you and teach you how to do something? So that's one half of the company. And then we also have Highly Favored Productions, which is the LLC. And that is kind of where the creative things that will go to film festivals and rock out. That's where we make the money.
Yeah, boy.
That's a really long story to say. That's how we ended up being Rhoxon Productions. And so I wanted a place to feature, because we did The Lost Ones, which is based on the new Hellblade game that I think just came out. And then we have Silverwork, and then we're in pre-production for our horror film Lucky. So I said, we have this stuff. Like, where can we like put this stuff and like bring other people who have made great stuff, and we can all celebrate our stuff together.
Yeah.
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 What better place than the 1020 Collective?
Yeah.
Truly, we love it there.
It's gonna be so cool.
Yeah.
That's an amazing story, though. It sounds like you had a lot of like your past experience like kind of brought you to that,
Yes.
and your connections and your
Yeah.
contacts and your ability to network and bring people on board and give them something they can be passionate about.
That's all you have is your network.
Right.
Like the guy who's doing what?
The manager's here.
The manager's here.
Hi, baby. Can I touch you?
Yeah.
Yes. There's a cat on the ground.
It's Gideon, our studio manager. She's not just a cat, Dave. She's a
Will she
very
come
important member of the team. She'll probably hop up on the table eventually.
Okay.
Well,
I want her to.
she's the most important part of the team, but if we were just like, for people who don't regularly watch, like our studio
that's a
manager's
cat.
on the
I
ground.
thought there
she's a
was
cat.
another.
Yeah.
I thought there was another spider, and I was like, "Where is it?"
No, she was sneaking under our backdrop over there.
Sweet girl. She's so cuddly.
Yeah, sometimes when she feels like it, she's very much a cat, though. So if she doesn't, if she's not feeling it, she won't show up.
She's
or,
feeling it.
Yeah,
She's in.
she's in. But that's awesome, though.
Yes. Sorry.
Amazing.
ADHD.
No, it's cool.
Yeah.
All the network, all the people coming together.
That's what it was. The wings, the network. So the guy who is, because I don't do anything halfway. So the main love interest dude has big bat wings. Because of
nice.
course he does.
Right.
course he does. And we have like a puppet that we shot with like a puppet of the wings, but he's going in and like animating them and compositing them, I think is the correct term. He's making them like, how does the sun shine through the veins of the wing? Like, it's very detailed, but I knew him. He and I went to church together in New York.
Nice.
So he's, you know, we always kind of joked about doing something together, and now we are doing a very big thing.
Hey, baby. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
See, I'm excited, and I am excited for all of the people that I'll continue to meet throughout this production and making those contacts and finding those people. Because, like, since we've made this movie, a couple other people are like, yo, I can do this if you ever need that in the future. And it's, like, starting to expand, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just finding those resources and the people that have the willingness to do different kinds of things for us to be a part of this, because like who doesn't want to make a movie, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And get paid a little bit too, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Granted, like we did not pay any, like we probably paid people less than minimum wage, all of us. Nobody made more than minimum wage for the amount of time we spent doing this.
Yeah. It was definitely below minimum wage, but we had a grand old time doing it.
We had a grand old time doing it, and it was really important to me as well to give people something, you know what I mean?
And there's something to be said, especially when people are starting out. The moment the work goes from, I'm doing this because I love it and I have a goal, versus, oh, someone just gave me an amount of money for something that I love to do, that changes things in a really, how I view it, really awesome way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People can see that, like, oh, I have this passion, I have this willingness, and I can actually, like, do something with it. You know what I mean? Or, like, make money or quit my job eventually, like like our goal. And
Love it.
it's just good to see. It's good. Gideon, what are you doing, baby? But it's good to see. And I'm really... Oh, my gosh.
She's eating spiders.
She's eating spiders and hanging out and bumping my microphone.
I agree.
Yeah.
I just want to get creative and maybe litigate it in my downtime.
Litigate in the downtime when you're not writing stuff for us.
That's right.
Oh,
There you go. She's just a baby. She wanted up here. That's what she really wanted.
You're just a baby.
So, Rhoxon,
Yes.
that's crazy. I'm really impressed that you've made so many films in such a short time, and it took us so long to make one. But, like...
Everybody's story is different.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to remind myself. It's not that we're like not in competition with each other, and I don't need to compare our story to your story or anything like
Please
that.
don't.
No.
Yeah.
Please don't.
Yeah. No, for sure.
I think
that's like the PG version of my story.
Right.
You don't want my story. My story's mine.
Yeah.
right. I mean, we always got to remind. I know I do. I think we both do. We got to remind ourselves that like that was our first time.
Yeah.
It was our
You
first
know.
time ever doing anything like that. And
then
it's not that it's a like it's just your output is like super high compared to what we did. Like it took us so long to make that.
Well, it was
Yeah.
highly stressful, I think, because we didn't know what we were getting ourselves into. So the amount of burnout that we had will probably not be as strong
Right.
after we do more.
And once it's already established, the ball starts rolling. It's much easier to keep it rolling than to get it rolling from absolutely not from like a standstill.
Yeah, and I think, and I'm not trying to criticize here, so hear my heart. But like when we brought Allison in, like it's not her first rodeo in direct. Like she knew what she wanted. Like we had like there nothing was accidental. So once you guys figure out, okay, here are the people I want to work with. Here's the skill set I want to get really good at, and then you can research, get crazy on that. Then you're good to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It always
Yeah.
gets easier the second time for sure.
Yeah.
And are your movies going to be at the festival?
I don't know if I'm allowed to say what's going to be at the festival yet.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't mean to press you. I feel like I've asked that in a few different ways.
I'm being manipulated.
I hope they are. I'll just say this. I hope they are, because I would
hope they
really
are.
love to see them at the festival and be able
Yeah.
to check them out and be a part of a bunch of different people's
We're
being at the festival.
the biggest challenge with silver work has been the wings. David Tate is incredibly talented. He's got Emmys for Westworld. Look him up. He's amazing. However, he's doing the work of like 6 people by himself. And this is kind of his, I believe it's his first indie project. And so we're learning a lot too in like what needs to happen between now and November, because Silverwork episode 1 is dropping in November no matter what, but we're not sure how much of Silverwork episode 2 will be finished until it releases the week after. So we're kind of figuring that out and taking it day by day.
Cool.
Yeah, everything all at once.
Everything at once.
Yeah.
That's the third one.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
I think
You're
that means it's time to end the show, though.
You did this. No, I'm just kidding.
Sorry.
No.
I'm so look. She's just so happy. I had to.
No, it's great. It's a perfect ending. Thank you for sharing with us your experience and your knowledge. And I'm really looking forward to Lake Effect Film Festival. I think it's going to be great. I hope to see a bunch of you out there too. And come check it out. It's going to be amazing.
And this is a real good boss you have.
Yeah, she's an excellent studio manager. She makes sure that we do all of our stuff to the best of our ability here. Yeah. And y'all have a great night. Thanks to all our sponsors. Thanks to all the people who listened. Check out Rhoxon Productions if you haven't yet. And have a good night, everybody. Peace.
Thank you.